The alien queen sat on her crystal throne, her eyes scanning the grand hall that glowed with soft bioluminescent light. The hall, vast and full of towering pillars carved from living crystal, seemed to shimmer with every movement. Yet, despite its beauty, a deep shadow hung over the room. It was the shadow of loss. For years, the alien queen had ruled her people with wisdom and strength, but her heart had carried a wound that no law, no army, and no magic could heal. Her daughter, the princess, had been taken by a ruthless faction of raiders when she was just a child. The memory of that day haunted the queen, how the sky had darkened with ships, how the screams of battle had filled the air, and how, despite her warrior's bravery, she had been powerless to protect her child. Now, many years later, the princess was still missing. Every corner of the galaxy had been searched, every clue followed, every ally consulted. Yet nothing had worked, and with each passing day, the queen felt hope slipping further from her grasp. "Your Majesty," a soft voice interrupted her thoughts. It was her chief advisor, an elder alien named Lither. His eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, reflecting worry and respect. "We have received another report from the outer colonies. There may be." A trace. The queen's heart skipped. She rose from her throne, her robes flowing like liquid light. "A trace?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly despite her authority. "Tell me everything." Lither stepped forward, lowering his head. "The scouts report unusual activity on a planet in the Arkan cluster, beyond the outer veil. A small settlement there has detected someone matching the princess's description. It is faint, but it is the closest lead we have had in years." The queen's eyes narrowed. "The Arkan cluster is dangerous. Few have ventured there and returned. I will not risk my warriors unnecessarily. Is there anyone else who can go?" Lither hesitated. "There is a human soldier, part of the Interstellar Alliance. He has proven himself in many conflicts and dangerous missions. He is brave, resourceful, and willing to face impossible odds." The queen's gaze turned sharp. Humans were strange to her people, a different species from the ones she knew. They were fragile in some ways, yet incredibly persistent in others. Many in her court doubted that a human could survive even a day on an alien battlefield. But she knew something in this soldier, something beyond physical strength. "Bring him to me," she said finally. "I will speak with him myself." The human soldier arrived aboard a sleek starship, landing in the luminous courtyard of the alien palace. He stepped out in his uniform, polished and practical, a simple emblem of the Interstellar Alliance on his chest. His eyes widened at the alien architecture, at the pillars that pulsed with light and the floating gardens that glimmered with strange colors. The court gathered to watch the human, murmuring among themselves. Many had never seen a human in person, and some whispered doubts. "How can he possibly help?" one counselor muttered. "He is just a human." The queen, however, gave no outward sign of judgment. She walked down the steps of her throne, her presence commanding silence. The human soldier bowed deeply, showing respect in the custom of his people, and then slowly rose to meet her gaze. "Your Majesty," he said, his voice calm but strong. "I have been sent to aid you in finding your daughter. I do not know what awaits me, but I will do everything I can." The queen studied him for a long moment. There was something in his eyes, a determination, a quiet strength that did not rely on alien technology or magical prowess. It was human courage, raw and unyielding. "You understand," the queen said, "that this task is not simple. The Arkan cluster is full of dangers, hostile environments, mercenaries, and treacherous terrain. Many have tried and failed." "I understand," the human replied. "I have faced impossible missions before. I do not promise success, but I promise effort, and I will not give up." Lither whispered to the queen, "He has a rare quality." "Humans can do things our people cannot predict. Perhaps this is what we need." The queen nodded slowly. She had little choice. She needed someone willing to risk everything, someone who could act with courage and creativity. "Very well," she said. "Prepare for departure. You leave at once." The human soldier's journey began aboard a small, fast ship. As they left the palace orbit, he watched the planet below with its glowing cities and flowing rivers of light. He thought of the mission ahead, a dangerous planet, unknown enemies, and a missing princess whose life might be in danger. His mind raced with strategies. He had trained for countless situations, but nothing could fully prepare him for the unknown. He checked his equipment, A compact energy weapon, communication devices, medical supplies, and a small pack of tools for survival. Every item had been chosen for practicality, and he knew that resourcefulness would be as important as courage. The ship entered the Archon cluster, a region of twisted asteroids, volatile storms, and magnetic fields that made navigation tricky. The human soldier sat at the controls, focusing on the instruments while keeping an eye on the shifting lights outside. Every moment required attention. One mistake could send the ship spiraling into the void. Approaching the planet, the pilot said. Sensors detect structures on the surface. Could be settlements, or traps. The soldier nodded. He had expected danger and he welcomed it. Challenges sharpened the mind and tested the spirit. As the ship descended, he saw jagged mountains, glowing rivers, and dense forests that seemed alive. The planet was beautiful in a harsh, wild way, but it was also unforgiving. Landing near the suspected settlement, the human soldier exited the ship. The air was thin and cold but breathable. Strange creatures scuttled in the shadows, curious but cautious. He moved carefully, scanning the terrain with both technology and instinct. Every shadow could hide a threat. Every movement could signal danger. Hours passed as he tracked faint signs of habitation, footprints, discarded tools, and strange markings on the rocks. Finally, he found evidence that the princess, or someone resembling her, had been here. Clothing fibers, a pendant she might have worn, subtle disturbances in the ground. He felt a surge of hope. It was faint, fragile, but it existed, and hope, he knew, was a powerful motivator. He would follow it wherever it led. That night, as he rested under the alien stars, he reflected on the journey ahead. The Archon cluster would not give up its secrets easily. The princess's captors would be clever and ruthless. But he felt something else too, a sense of purpose. Humans could face impossible odds. Humans could endure, adapt, and survive. And perhaps this human soldier could succeed where others had failed. With the cold wind brushing his face and the alien constellations overhead, he made a silent promise. No matter the danger, no matter the obstacles, he would find the princess and bring her home. The alien queen, far away in her glowing palace, felt a small flicker of hope. She did not yet know if the human soldier would succeed, but for the first time in many years, hope stirred in her heart. Perhaps her daughter was not lost forever. Perhaps with courage, skill, and a human's determination, the impossible could become possible. The human soldier moved quietly through the dense alien forest, every step careful, every sound noted. The trees were unlike anything he had seen before. They pulsed softly with light from within, their leaves like thin glass sheets that shimmered when touched by wind. Strange creatures scuttled among the roots, some no bigger than his hand, others larger, their glowing eyes watching him with curiosity. He paused to take a breath. The forest was beautiful, almost magical. But he knew beauty often hid danger. Every moment demanded attention. The path ahead was uncertain, but the traces he had found, tiny signs of habitation, kept him moving forward. He could feel the pull of hope, faint yet persistent, guiding him deeper into the unknown. Hours passed as he carefully navigated the terrain. The ground was uneven, dotted with glowing fungi and roots that could trip the unwary. He adjusted his pace, scanning for any unusual patterns. The signs he followed, strange carvings on trees, small footprints, a glimmer of fabric, were subtle but unmistakable. Someone had passed through here, and it was likely the princess. Suddenly, the sound of distant movement caught his attention. He froze, every muscle tense. Through the misty air, he could see the silhouettes of two beings approaching. They were alien, clearly not part of the friendly factions he knew. Their eyes glowed a deep red, and they moved with silent, predatory grace. The human soldier did not panic. He had faced dangerous foes before. Slowly, he reached for a small device in his pack, a portable scanner. It pulsed softly in his hand, detecting life signs. There were more than two. The aliens were part of a group, hiding in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. He had a choice: confront them directly, risk exposure, or try another approach. Using what he had learned from humans over centuries of exploration, he decided to create a distraction. He tossed a small device toward a cluster of glowing rocks, and it emitted a bright pulse of light. The aliens turned toward it, their curiosity overpowering caution. Taking the chance, he moved quietly past them. Every step required patience and careful timing. The forest seemed alive around him, guiding and challenging him simultaneously. His training, instincts, and human determination all came into play. He could feel the alien terrain testing him, but he welcomed it. As night fell, the human soldier set up a small camp. He built a simple shelter from alien materials, large leaves, flexible vines, and glowing stones to provide light. He ate a small ration from his pack and drank water filtered through a portable purifier. Even in this alien world, human adaptability allowed him to survive. Sitting by the light, he reviewed the information he had collected. The princess had likely been moved recently. Whoever held her was clever, and they seemed aware that she might be rescued. This was no ordinary kidnapping. The captors had planned carefully, using the forest and the planet's strange environment to their advantage. Despite the difficulty, he did not feel fear. Fear, he knew, could cloud judgment. Instead, he focused on possibilities. Every obstacle was a puzzle, every danger an opportunity to learn and adapt. That was the human way. Before sleep, he ran through scenarios in his mind. He imagined approaching the princess, assessing her situation, gaining her trust, and ensuring her safety. His training emphasized preparation, and preparation often meant the difference between success and failure. The next morning, he moved again. The forest was thicker, the air heavier. Strange mists curled around the glowing roots and vines, and every step required careful attention. The scanner in his hand picked up faint signals, small heat signatures, movement of a creature too large to be natural. He knew he was getting closer. Soon he encountered signs of alien construction, a series of simple barricades made from wood-like materials and metal shards. Someone had been here recently, repairing and reinforcing them. The human soldier paused, studying the structures. They were clever but not infallible. Using the tools he carried, he examined the barricades for weak points and safe paths through. It was then that he met the first potential ally, a small alien scout lost or escaped from the captors hid nearby watching him. Its eyes were cautious but intelligent. The human soldier slowly extended a hand, showing he meant no harm. The alien hesitated but eventually approached. It chirped softly, and he realized it was trying to communicate. Using gestures and simple phrases, he conveyed that he was there to help. The alien seemed to understand and led him through hidden paths, avoiding dangerous creatures and traps. This alliance, though fragile, was invaluable. With the alien scout's knowledge of the terrain, he could move faster and more safely. It also reminded him that trust and cooperation were powerful tools, even in a world of uncertainty. Days passed. They traveled through jagged mountains, across glowing rivers, and through thick forests that seemed endless. Along the way, the human soldier encountered signs of the princess's presence. Small marks on rocks, remnants of her belongings, traces of food and water she might have used. Each clue strengthened his determination, but danger was never far. Hostile alien creatures lurked everywhere, some camouflaged, some clever hunters who could track movement from miles away. The human soldier adapted using traps, diversions, and careful observation. He learned quickly, combining human ingenuity with the alien scout's knowledge. One night, as they rested near a glowing river, he reflected on the journey so far. The challenges had been intense, but they had also shown him something important. Humans could thrive in places no one expected. It was not brute strength that mattered most. It was patience, intelligence, and the willingness to face the unknown. The alien scout chirped softly, bringing him back to the present. It seemed to sense his thoughts and nudged him toward a nearby ridge. Peering over, he saw a distant settlement nestled in the valley below. Buildings of strange shapes and glowing lights indicated life. He felt a surge of hope. This could be where the princess was held. Approaching the settlement required careful planning. The human soldier knew that direct confrontation could be deadly. He studied the layout, observing patrols and movement patterns. Using a combination of stealth and clever distractions, he planned a route that minimized risk. Along the way, he discovered an old outpost abandoned by the captors. Inside, he found supplies, maps, and notes that hinted at the captors' plans. They were organized but not perfect. Every weakness he discovered brought him closer to his goal. It was during this exploration that he first realized the captors underestimated him. They assumed a human would be too weak, too slow, or too unprepared for the challenges of their planet. But that was their mistake. Humans, he thought, often turned weaknesses into strengths. Resourcefulness, courage, and adaptability were qualities his species had relied upon for centuries. Using the maps and clues, he charted a path to the princess's location. The journey would be dangerous, but the risks were necessary. Each step brought him closer to the reunion that seemed so impossible when he first left the alien palace. As he moved through the settlement, he encountered the first real resistance. Guards patrolled with advanced technology, weapons that could harm him instantly. But he did not panic. Using shadows, quick movements, and clever diversions, he avoided detection. The alien scout proved invaluable, signaling when danger approached and pointing out hidden paths. Hours later, he reached a fortified area. This was the strongest part of the settlement, likely where the princess was held. From a distance, he observed the structure. Guards were vigilant, but patterns existed. Every patrol had a routine, every door a weakness. He studied them carefully, knowing that one mistake could ruin everything. That night, he rested in a hidden alcove, planning his next move. He reviewed every clue, every detail he had observed. The human mind, he knew, thrived on preparation. While others might be intimidated by the fortification, he saw it as a challenge to be solved. He thought of the alien queen waiting far away, her heart heavy with worry. He thought of the princess alone, likely frightened, relying on hope to survive. The weight of responsibility pressed on him, but it strengthened his resolve. Humans could endure, adapt, and succeed even when the odds seemed impossible. The next morning, he made his move. Using stealth knowledge and careful timing, he infiltrated the outer defenses. The alien scout guided him, warning of hidden sensors and traps. The human soldier moved like a shadow, silent, precise, and focused. He reached a high vantage point overlooking the central building. Guards were stationed at key points, but he could see a weakly defended entrance at the rear. It was risky, but it was the best chance. He took a deep breath, recalling everything he had learned so far. Patience, observation, resourcefulness, and courage. And then he stepped forward, ready to face the next stage of the mission. Every moment had led to this point. Every challenge had prepared him, and every obstacle he had overcome proved one thing. Humans could rise to any challenge, no matter how impossible it seemed. The quest to save the princess had entered its most dangerous phase, but the human soldier was ready. With determination in his heart and courage in his spirit, he advanced, knowing that the impossible might just become possible. The human soldier crouched behind the thick wall of alien vines, peering at the fortress before him. Its structure was unlike anything he had encountered. It was carved from dark, metallic stone that glimmered under the planet's faint light. Spires jutted from its walls, and energy fields shimmered around the gates. Small creatures patrolled the perimeter, and the occasional shadow suggested that sentries moved inside. For a moment, he allowed himself a breath of anticipation. After days of tracking, analyzing, and surviving, he had finally arrived at the likely location of the princess. His heart beat steadily, not with fear but with determination. He had learned that panic could cloud judgment and focus could turn impossible odds into achievable goals. The alien scout beside him chirped softly, alerting him to movement along a side passage. He followed its guidance, finding a narrow path that led to a rear entrance. This entrance was guarded by 2 patrolling sentries, armed with strange alien devices that could incapacitate intruders in seconds. He observed their pattern carefully. Every few moments they paused, looking toward the main courtyard, giving him a small window to move. He waited patiently. Human patience, honed through years of survival training, became his greatest ally. When the guards turned their attention to the courtyard, he slipped quietly through the shadows. The air inside the fortress smelled of metal and something unfamiliar, an acrid scent that reminded him how alien this world truly was. The corridors inside were narrow and dimly lit. Strange markings covered the walls, symbols he did not understand but sensed were warnings. His scanner picked up faint energy signatures, someone alive, small and weak but present. He adjusted his pace, careful not to make any sound that could alert the captors. As he moved, he encountered the first challenge, a series of automated traps. Laser grids, pressure-sensitive floors, and motion sensors blocked the way. Many would have been deterred, but he approached them as puzzles. Using his tools and quick thinking, he deactivated some traps, created small diversions for others, and carefully navigated through the rest. Every step demanded attention and intelligence. Finally, he reached a high corridor overlooking a central chamber. Peering down, he saw the princess. She was sitting on a raised platform, her long hair loose, her face tired but alert. She had survived in this hostile place for years, relying on her wits and courage. Her eyes widened slightly as she noticed movement from above, but she could not see who it was. The human soldier's heart tightened. Seeing her alive after so many years of searching filled him with a mix of relief and urgency. He knew the captors would not hesitate to defend their prize. Any wrong move could endanger both him and the princess. He needed a plan. Rushing in would be foolish. The fortress was heavily guarded, and his strength alone was not enough. He studied the environment carefully. The energy fields around the platform were intermittent, creating small windows of opportunity. He noticed that the guards followed predictable patterns, and the princess's platform had weak points at its edges. He took a deep breath, focusing his mind. Humans often succeeded not by brute strength, but by intelligence and adaptability. Using a series of small, precise movements, he descended to a hidden corridor leading closer to the platform. The alien scout accompanied him, chirping softly to warn of approaching guards. He reached a small doorway leading to the princess's chamber. Carefully, he opened it, revealing a narrow passageway behind her platform. He whispered to the scout, "Stay here. I'll get her. Then we move quickly." The scout chirped in agreement. Inside the chamber, the princess sensed a presence. She turned quickly, her eyes wide. Who is there?" she asked, her voice trembling but strong. The human soldier stepped forward slowly, hands raised in a non-threatening gesture. "I am here to help you," he said softly. "I am a friend. You are not alone anymore." Her eyes searched his face, suspicious yet hopeful. She had been deceived before, promised help that never came. But something in his voice, in his calm and steady presence, made her pause. She sensed he was different. "Why should I trust you?" she asked. Her voice was steady now, stronger but still wary. "Because I have come all this way to find you," he replied. "I will not leave you here, but we must move quickly. The guards will return soon." For a long moment she hesitated. Her survival had depended on caution and careful judgment. Yet the instinct to hope, buried deep within her, urged her to trust him. Slowly she nodded. He guided her through the narrow passageways. The corridors were confusing, a maze designed to trap intruders. But the human soldier moved with purpose. His knowledge of strategy, his ability to observe and adapt, allowed him to find paths others might miss. At one point, a small sensor detected movement. He held the princess close to a shadowed corner, using his body as cover. The guards passed, unaware of the hidden humans. The princess's heart pounded, but she trusted the human soldier completely. She could feel his courage, his determination. Humans, she realized, were capable of bravery unlike any she had seen before. They could endure, adapt, and face dangers others would flee from. Finally, they reached a secondary exit, leading to a concealed passage that descended toward the outer walls. It was still dangerous. Patrolling guards and energy barriers remained. But the soldier's careful planning minimized risk. He checked the route one last time, then led the princess forward. As they moved through the passage, the princess asked softly, "Who are you? How did you find me?" "I am a human soldier," he replied simply. "I was sent by your mother, the alien queen, to bring you home. I have followed every clue, every sign to get here, and now I will not let anything stop us." Her eyes widened in awe. Humans, she thought, were different from anyone she had known. Not stronger, not faster, but capable of incredible determination and courage. She felt a sense of trust growing within her. They reached a corner where the outer wall was exposed. Below, the alien scout had prepared a rope made from strong vines. The human soldier helped the princess descend carefully. Every step required concentration. The walls were steep, the ground uneven, but human ingenuity and careful planning made the descent possible. Once on the ground, they moved quickly through the shadows. The fortress lay behind them, silent but alert. Patrols had not yet detected their escape, but time was limited. Every second counted. The princess clung to the human soldier's guidance, following his instructions with trust and courage. They reached a grove of glowing trees. The light was soft, providing enough visibility to move safely while remaining hidden. Here the princess paused. "I never thought someone would come for me," she whispered. "I promised your mother I would find you," the human soldier said. "And I always keep my promises. Humans are stubborn that way." He smiled briefly, a small gesture of warmth amid danger. She looked at him, admiration and relief in her eyes. "You are different," she said. "I thought only my mother could be so brave. But you are brave too." He nodded. Bravery comes in many forms. Humans can face what seems impossible, and sometimes that is enough to change everything. Their journey back was not without danger. Patrols increased as the captors discovered the escape. The human soldier used every skill he had: distractions, clever routes, and careful timing. They crossed glowing rivers, climbed steep ridges, and moved silently through alien forests. Every moment tested their endurance, but they persevered. At one point, a bridge over a glowing chasm presented a challenge. The bridge was old, unstable, and narrow. He helped the princess carefully across, checking every step. Human patience and careful observation were vital here. One mistake could have been disastrous. Finally, as dawn approached, they reached a hidden valley. It was safe, at least temporarily. The princess looked around, breathing deeply, feeling a sense of freedom she had not known in years. She turned to the human soldier. "You saved me," she said softly, tears forming in her eyes. I thought I was alone forever." "You are not alone anymore," he replied, "and I will get you home. I promised your mother. And I always keep my promises." Her trust in him had grown completely. Humans, she realized, were capable of courage, persistence, and kindness in ways she had never imagined. And now, humans' determination had brought her hope and a chance to reunite with her mother. As the first light of the alien sun broke over the horizon, the human soldier and the princess rested briefly in the valley. The fortress lay behind them, their mission halfway complete. The princess, once alone and afraid, now walked beside a human who had faced incredible dangers to rescue her. The human soldier thought of the journey ahead. The path to the alien capital would still be treacherous, but together, they could face it. Every challenge so far had shown him that humans could adapt, endure, and overcome. And this mission, saving a princess, was proof that human courage could make a difference in worlds far beyond their own. As they prepared to continue, the princess whispered, "Thank you for everything." The human soldier smiled faintly. "There is still a long way to go, but we will succeed. Humans never give up, and neither should you." And with that, they moved forward, stepping into the unknown, ready to face whatever dangers awaited, bound by trust, courage, and the unyielding human spirit. The valley was quiet, but the human soldier knew that the danger had not passed. The fortress lay behind them, its walls bristling with guards who would soon discover the escape. Every shadow could hide a watcher. Every movement could trigger pursuit. He glanced at the princess, who walked carefully beside him, her eyes wide with both awe and exhaustion. "Are you ready?" he asked, his voice calm, steady. She nodded, gripping the strap of her small pack. "I am. I trust you." That trust, he knew, was both a gift and a responsibility. Humans could succeed where others failed, not because they were stronger, but because they combined courage with intelligence. And in this moment, that combination would be crucial. Their path led through a dense forest that glowed faintly under the planet's pale light. Strange creatures moved among the trees, some curious, some dangerous. Every step demanded attention, every sound measured. The human soldier moved quietly, guiding the princess along hidden trails. Suddenly, a noise echoed through the trees. Footsteps, measured and deliberate. Patrols were searching the valley, and they were close. The human soldier motioned for the princess to stay behind a thick tree trunk, and he peered around the corner. Two guards, larger and more imposing than the others, scanned the area. He observed their movement carefully. Humans, he thought, often succeed by patience. The guards had patterns, pauses, rotations, moments of distraction. Timing and strategy would be everything. When the moment came, he darted across the clearing, silent and precise, drawing the guards' attention just long enough for the princess to slip past him. The guards gave chase, but he led them on a calculated path, using the terrain to his advantage. Rocks, vines, and uneven ground slowed them down, and he used small diversions, throwing stones, tapping a branch to mislead their senses. By the time the princess reached safety behind a cluster of glowing trees, the human soldier had already disappeared into the shadows, ready to guide her further. Hours passed as they navigated the alien terrain. The human soldier's senses were sharp, constantly scanning for danger. The princess, though exhausted, moved with him, learning from his careful observation and quiet confidence. She had never seen courage like this before, not in her guards, not in her own people. Humans, she realized, could face fear directly and use it to guide action. They reached a narrow canyon, its walls towering high and slick with alien minerals. The only path forward was a precarious trail along the edge. One misstep could be fatal. "Hold my hand," the soldier said, offering her reassurance. "Stay close and we'll get through this." Her hand trembled slightly as she took his, but she trusted him completely. Together they moved carefully, step by step. The canyon demanded patience, careful thought, and courage. At one point, a small rock gave way under their weight. The soldier reacted instantly, pulling the princess to safety with a quick, practiced movement. She looked at him in awe. You saved me again." "Humans have a way of doing that," he replied simply, his eyes scanning the path ahead. "We keep going no matter what." By midday, they had reached a plateau overlooking a wide river that glowed with bioluminescent currents. Crossing it would be dangerous. Swift currents, jagged rocks, and the possibility of patrols downstream. The human soldier considered their options. "Stay close," he said. "We'll make it together." He found a narrow path along the riverbank that twisted through alien reeds. The water shimmered, reflecting the strange sky above. He tested the footing carefully, ensuring it could hold both of them. Then, moving step by step, he guided the princess across the treacherous path. Every moment required precision. Every step demanded trust. When they reached the far side, she breathed a sigh of relief. "I can't believe we made it," she said. "You will see," he replied. "Humans do not give up. Not ever." Night fell and they found a small cave to rest. The human soldier built a simple shelter with alien materials, glowing stones for light, flexible vines for structure. He shared a small ration with the princess, and they drank water filtered through his portable purifier. For the first time in years, she felt safe, if only temporarily. "I never imagined anyone would come for me," she said softly, staring into the glowing stones. "I thought I was alone forever." "You are never truly alone if someone cares," he replied. "And your mother sent me. That care reaches far, even across galaxies." She looked at him, tears forming in her eyes. "You are incredible. I don't know how to thank you." "You don't need to," he said gently. "Just survive. Stay strong. That is enough." The next day, they continued. The human soldier led the princess through treacherous terrain. Mountains that seemed impossible to climb. Forests filled with dangerous creatures and fields of sharp, crystalline growths that could pierce skin easily. Yet every obstacle was overcome with ingenuity, patience, and courage. At one point, they encountered a patrol of heavily armed aliens. The princess froze, fear evident in her eyes. But the human soldier did not panic. He scanned the environment, noticed a series of low tunnels beneath the patrol path, and guided her through them. The tunnels were dark and narrow, but they provided safety. "Trust me," he whispered. "Humans find a way when there seems to be none." Emerging on the other side, the princess felt awe and admiration. Humans, she realized, could do things that seemed impossible, moving silently, thinking quickly, and using every skill at their disposal. She began to understand why her mother had trusted him. As they neared the outskirts of the forest, the princess spotted movement in the distance. Patrols from the fortress were searching methodically, but the human soldier's planning kept them safe. He led her along hidden paths, using shadows, terrain, and timing to stay undetected. At one point, A bridge over a glowing chasm blocked their path. The bridge was old and unstable, swaying slightly with the wind. The princess hesitated, fear threatening to slow her down. "Step carefully," he instructed. "I will guide you. One step at a time." Together they crossed. He moved first, testing each step. She followed closely, trusting him completely. Halfway across, the bridge creaked dangerously. He adjusted his weight, steadying her, and guided her to the other side safely. "You saved me again," she whispered. "Humans never give up," he replied with a faint smile. "That's what we do." By dawn, they had reached a hidden valley. It was safe, at least for now. The princess took a deep breath, looking at the horizon. The sun rose, casting pale light over alien landscapes she had never seen. For the first time in years, she felt hope. "I can't believe we are still alive," she said softly. "You are stronger than you realize," he replied. "Humans are persistent, but so are you. You survived this long, and now we finish the journey." They rested briefly, gathering strength for the final stretch. The human soldier knew the path back to the alien capital would be dangerous. Patrols, hostile creatures, and the unforgiving terrain still awaited them. But every challenge they had faced so far had proven one thing: humans could endure, adapt, and overcome. The journey continued through alien deserts and jagged hills. The human soldier led with careful observation, using knowledge gained from their journey to avoid danger. The princess followed, learning from his methods and growing stronger herself. She saw courage in action, not just words, a human's ability to think, adapt, and protect. At one point, they encountered a canyon filled with sudden storms. Lightning struck the ground unpredictably and the wind howled like a living creature. The princess panicked for a moment, but the human soldier remained calm. "Stay low," he instructed, holding her close. "Follow me. We will move together step by step." They navigated the storm carefully, using rocks and natural cover. Every movement required trust, patience, and courage. By the time the storm passed, they were safe, though exhausted. Finally, they reached the outskirts of the Arkan cluster. The princess looked back at the forests, rivers, and mountains they had crossed. She could hardly believe they had survived. "Thank you," she said quietly. "I don't know how to repay you." "You don't need to," he replied. "We did what needed to be done. Humans never give up, and neither should you." The human soldier smiled faintly, tired but resolute. He knew the final leg of their journey, the return to the alien capital, would still be challenging. But he had proven one thing: humans could face any danger, endure any hardship, and achieve what others thought impossible. The princess looked at him with admiration, understanding now why her mother had trusted him. He was not just a soldier. He was courage, intelligence, and heart combined, a human hero. As they moved forward, the sun rose higher, casting light over the alien world. The journey was not yet over, but hope burned brightly. The princess would soon be reunited with her mother, and the human soldier's bravery had made it possible. The impossible was now within reach, and human determination shone like a beacon, guiding them home. The alien capital stretched below them, a city of glowing towers, floating gardens, and streets that pulsed softly with light. From this distance, it looked peaceful, almost serene, but the human soldier knew that for the alien queen, peace had been broken for many years. Her daughter had been lost, and her heart had carried a shadow that no beauty could erase. He adjusted the straps on his pack and glanced at the princess walking beside him. Her steps were steady now, though her eyes still shone with awe and fear from their journey. She had survived impossible odds, learned to trust again, and was ready to see her mother. "Are you ready?" the soldier asked, keeping his voice calm. She nodded. "I am. I want to see her." "I need to see her." The human soldier smiled faintly. "Then we make sure we get there safely. Stay close." The path into the capital was not simple. Though the city welcomed visitors, the outer perimeter was guarded heavily. Alien sentries were alert for any signs of intrusion. Yet the soldier moved with careful precision, observing patrols and finding hidden pathways. Humans, he reflected, often succeeded because they used intelligence, timing, and courage together. Brute force alone would not have carried them this far. They reached a narrow river that flowed through the capital's outskirts. Bridges connected the city's floating platforms, but they were patrolled. The human soldier studied the patterns. One misstep could alert the guards. He noticed a low walkway beneath the main bridge, hidden from view. "Follow me," he instructed. "This way is safe." Step by step, they crossed the hidden walkway. The princess kept her breathing steady, trusting the human soldier completely. Every move, every decision he made, reinforced her belief that humans could achieve what others might deem impossible. Once inside the city, the human soldier guided her through twisting streets and quiet alleys. The capital was alive with activity, but most citizens were unaware of the small, determined group moving within their midst. The princess paused occasionally, marveling at the glowing gardens, the shimmering towers, and the soft hum of energy flowing through the city. "I've never seen anything like this," she whispered. "You will see more soon," the soldier replied. "But first we reach your mother." They approached the palace gates, towering and adorned with flowing crystal sculptures. Sentries stood at attention, observing the city below. The human soldier did not hesitate. He stepped forward confidently, speaking in the basic alien protocol he had learned during the journey. "I bring the princess," he announced calmly. "She is safe. Please allow her entry." The guards hesitated, surprised by both the arrival and the confidence of the human, but they had no reason to doubt him. Slowly, they stepped aside, allowing them passage. Inside the palace, the air shimmered with bioluminescent light. The halls were vast, lined with pillars of living crystal and adorned with hanging gardens. The princess clutched the human soldier's hand as they moved forward. Her heartbeat quickened, anticipation and nervousness mingling. At last, they reached the grand hall where the alien queen sat upon her throne. She was surrounded by her council, but her gaze was fixed ahead, distant and heavy with worry. The human soldier stepped forward, his voice strong and clear. "Your Majesty, the princess is here. She is safe. I have brought her home." The alien queen's eyes widened, her breath catching. Slowly, she rose from her throne, moving closer. Her advisors watched in silence, aware that something extraordinary was unfolding. The princess ran forward, tears streaming down her face. "Mom!" she cried, her voice echoing through the hall. "I'm home. He saved me." The alien queen dropped to her knees, enveloping her daughter in a tight embrace. The years of pain, worry, and loss poured out in that moment. Tears fell freely as mother and daughter clung to each other. The human soldier stepped back, allowing them space. He watched quietly, a faint smile on his face. Humans often succeeded by their actions, not their words. He had promised to bring the princess home, and now he had fulfilled that promise. The alien queen looked up through her tears, her gaze finding the human soldier. You have done what no one else could. You have brought my daughter back." Her voice was soft, filled with awe. "How can I ever thank you?" "You do not need to," he replied simply. "I only did what was right. Humans do not give up, and neither should you." Her eyes softened, and a smile broke through her grief. "You are remarkable. My people will remember your courage and your honor." The princess nodded, her voice trembling with emotion. "He saved me, mother." He never gave up, even when it seemed impossible. Humans, they are extraordinary. The human soldier felt a surge of humility. Recognition was not what drove him. It was the mission, the promise, and the safety of those he had come to protect. Yet he understood that his actions had made a difference. Humans, he realized, could shine even in worlds far from their own. In the days that followed, the alien queen reunited fully with her daughter. The city celebrated the princess's return, and the human soldier's bravery became known throughout the capital. Citizens marveled at the determination, intelligence, and courage of a single human who had faced unimaginable dangers to save another life. He did not seek glory. Instead, he helped the princess recover, taught her some survival techniques, and ensured that she felt safe and confident. Through this, the alien saw the full measure of human capability: courage, compassion, and selflessness combined with intelligence and persistence. During a private moment in the palace gardens, the alien queen spoke to the human soldier. "You have not only saved my daughter, but you have also restored hope to my people. Humans are truly remarkable. I have seen warriors, strategists, and scholars among many races, but your bravery, your heart, is something else entirely." He bowed respectfully. "I only did what I must. Humans have a way of facing impossible odds and still finding a solution. Your daughter's safety was my mission, and I would do it again if necessary." She nodded, understanding not just his words, but the depth of his spirit. Humans, she realized, could accomplish what others considered impossible. Not through strength alone, but through persistence, intelligence, and courage. The princess joined them, smiling faintly. He never gave up, Mother. Every obstacle, every danger. He faced it all. He believed in me and in us. That is why I am here today. The alien queen took her daughter's hand, then looked back at the human soldier. Your people, your courage. You have shown us what humanity can achieve. You have brought honor not just to yourself but to your species. He nodded, feeling both pride and humility. Humans, he thought, could face worlds beyond their own, overcome dangers unimaginable, and make a difference simply by standing firm, acting with courage, and refusing to give up. The reunion brought more than relief, it brought hope. The alien queen's court witnessed the strength of human determination. Citizens of the capital saw that courage, intelligence, and compassion could transcend species, cultures, and worlds. Humans, through one soldier's actions, had bridged the gap between worlds and inspired others to believe in the possible. For the princess, it was a moment she would never forget. She had survived captivity, learned to trust again, and experienced firsthand the unyielding bravery of a human who refused to fail. She understood that humans could face impossible odds and succeed where others might falter. In the following days, preparations began for the princess's formal return to the palace. The human soldier remained close, offering guidance and support. The city watched as mother and daughter were reunited fully, and the admiration for the human grew. Yet he remained modest. Humans, he thought, were defined not by fame but by action. Courage, selflessness, and determination were what mattered. He had fulfilled his mission, kept his promise, and in doing so, had shown the galaxy what humanity could accomplish. Finally, the day came when the alien queen and her daughter stood before the council, united. The human soldier stepped forward respectfully. The queen addressed the assembly. This human has done what many believed impossible. He has brought my daughter home safe and unharmed. His courage, intelligence, and heart are a testament to the strength of humanity. Let it be known that humans are worthy allies capable of extraordinary deeds. The council bowed in respect. Citizens cheered, and the princess smiled, tears in her eyes. Thank you, she whispered to the human soldier. You gave me back my life, my family. Hope, he nodded simply. It is what humans do. We never give up, and we protect those who cannot protect themselves. That is enough. As the sun set over the glowing towers of the alien capital, the human soldier watched quietly. His mission was complete, but the impact of his actions would resonate for years. Humans, through courage, determination, and heart, had changed the fate of another world. The princess and her mother embraced one final time, safe at last. The human soldier's bravery had made it possible. He had proven that even in a galaxy filled with wonders and dangers, humans could shine brightest when it mattered most. And with that, the impossible had been achieved. Hope was restored, a family reunited, and the legacy of human courage and ingenuity written into the stars.